Hello everyone, and this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game 1 in a set between Acer's Bly and GosWser here on Belshire Vestige. GosWser spawning as the bottom right hand side of the map. And here you go, let's see the good luck have fun, whiner, cheeser, and all the trash talking already starting up, and we'll see what will be coming out from these particular players. Apparently Bly being accused of cheesing with no skill. And then again, the game is StarCraft 2, and the point of the game is to win. So in whatever way, shape, or form, as long as it is within the rules and within the interface of StarCraft 2, I would believe everything is fair game. Now, let's take a look at what's going to be happening in this particular series, as we now see Bly and GosWser, both players, pretty close in terms of their builds. I believe the Overlord timings were slightly different, but overall, you're not going to see that much of a difference, as the Overlords will be getting into position. Now, Zerg versus Zerg. One of those matchups that, one of those mirror matches where you really need to figure out what your opponent do. And apparently GosWser just saying it's ladder. You can't cheese on ladder, just because there's not as much respect out there on ladder. You know, you and your opponent are not necessarily going to be doing the same thing all the time. Anyways, we do see Bly is setting up a hatchery. He went for hatchery first. Meanwhile, GosWser is going for an extractor pool. A very, very aggressive place, considering that he's going to be getting metabolic boost relatively early. And now, what is Bly going to do to respond? I don't know if I really like this coming in from GosWser, as getting that additional extractor, getting that gas, he's going to be a little bit more aggressive, but not by much. Unless he runs Zerglings halfway across the map and then starts morphing them into Banelings, I cannot see this engagement going well. If he starts researching that metabolic boost, he's not going to see that much of a performance difference. By the time his units get over there, his opponent is going to be having metabolic boost of his own, and that is just simply not going to work. Let's take a look. It is going to be metabolic boost now faster for GosWser. He's going to have about, I would say, about a 30-second window over his opponent, and that's just really the walking distances between these two bases. Queen already coming out here. Meanwhile, a slight larva advantage for Bly, since he is getting double queens on two hatcheries already. Meanwhile, this hatchery has yet to produce a single larva at all, as we are now looking into the late early game, figuring out what we want to see from both of these teams. You can see that there is about a 30-second difference right there. The metabolic boost not going to be opening up much for GosWser, as we see that Bly does have that economic advantage. 20 drones compared to 17. That does come out to be about 120 resources a minute, which means GosWser is essentially losing 5 Zerglings every minute he isn't engaging. We can see that the Baneling's nest is going to be coming in now, so perhaps he is just trying to time this where he does have his extra gas slightly faster for that Baneling's nest and for perhaps some Banelings to detonate. However, Bly going to be getting some Banelings of his own. Harvester count is now 22 to 24. Things are starting to even up just a bit, and Bly playing a bit defensively, getting up a spine crawler, knowing what can happen when things go wrong. All right, let's take a look at this. Zerglings already making their way out across the field. Bly knows that gas was faster by his opponent. You can see that the spine crawler is already coming in. The Overlord is getting in position. There's an Overlord off over here. Are the Zerglings going to try and do a squeeze play here, as the Zerglings do get metabolic boost at the same time? Meanwhile, the Zerglings are now trying to get their way inside. It looks as though they will be taking a bit of damage, as the drones are being transferred as well. Bly hoping to perhaps split up his Zerglings and catch some of them, and they are all just going to get torn apart there. GosWser losing out in the economic race, and looks like he will be losing a little bit more units as well. 106 versus 56, as the Zerglings will be coming in for a counterattack of their own. Harvester count pretty even now, 34 to 32. GosWser actually slightly ahead, as he doesn't no, he has the spine crawler as well. Not quite sure. Nope. Bly now going for 2 additional extractors. And if he can get to tier 2 and get Mutalisk, that will be the overall trump card. It's a little bit of a gamble going for a layer this early. Going for a layer this early means that you are investing a lot of minerals and gas into a fight. Oh, beautifully done there. Zergling taking down one Baneling. You are investing a lot of minerals and resources and time for a very, very deferred gratification. You are not going to see a Spire anytime soon. You can see that the Spire is just now going to be started, as we do see that this drone going to perhaps grow up to be a hatchery. What is this? Right underneath the nose of this Overlord. GosWser should respond pretty quickly. There's the Spire. Meanwhile, we are going into a Roach Warren with most likely Roach speed, as the layer is now being teched up as well. All right, GosWser and Bly about even at this stage in the game. The amount of gas coming in from Bly is rather large. He is running on 4 gas compared to his opponent's 3 at this point. Overall losses are still only 50 different, as the Overseer now going to be doing a flyby here. He has seen everything he needs to see. Can this Overseer get out of there in time? I don't believe so. The Overseer taking a bit too much damage. Oh, the Queen not. Oh, the Bly's Overseer not getting away. Is it going to move enough? No, it is not. It does get taken down, and Bly actually a little bit of a misstep there. Meanwhile, we can see that there is 10 roaches now coming in. Meanwhile, the Spire needs about another 25 seconds to go. The walking distance between the bases, though, rather large, especially without Glio Reconstitution yet. I cannot imagine GosWser attacking without Glio Reconstitution, and that means that the Mutalisk will be up. If the Roaches get caught midfield, this would be absolutely horrific for them, as we now see Overlord spewing creep. Zergling's now trying to come in there as the Roaches do push back. 10 Mutalisks now coming in. I do believe Bly has this. His gamble did pay off. GosWser did not tech, or has not teched enough. We can see that it is range weapons upgrades, but it's going to be quite some time before you even hint of a Hydralisk Den, let alone Hydralisk and that range upgrade. Here you go, 10 Mutalisks now flocking their way across the field. Does the Overseer spot the Spire? Yes, he does, and he realizes that something is tremendously wrong. Zergling's taking on a lot of drones in that engagement there, as we now see a huge loss. Mutalisk now coming in, and this is just going to absolutely destroy Roach after Roach. All these units going to get taken down very, very easily. Could perhaps even go after the base. No, that's the point of the Zerglings, as the Mutalisks are just splitting apart the army. Zerglings going after the weak drones, while the Mutalisks are finishing up all of those Roaches. It looks like GosWser is just going to end up losing way too much in this engagement. There go a couple more Spore Crawlers now trying to come into play. It looks like they will not see the light of day either, as the losses are simply too high, and GosWser says GG. Game 1 going to Bly in a very, very impressive fashion, not using any sort of cheese tactics or cheese play whatsoever. Straight up taking a little bit of a risk, teching to tier 2 faster for Mutalisks, and that's where you see it, 10 Mutalisks changing the course of the game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 1. Please stay tuned for Game 2.